Now, many writers and speakers talk about finding our true selves. But what does that even mean? Is this the whole popular culture idea of you be you or I be me? Or is it something much deeper and more meaningful than that? Well, in the Genesis narrative of God creating and then breathing life into Adam and Eve, the biblical writer uses the Hebrew term nephesh, which means life or soul or self. Now, it's one of those ancient Hebrew terms that doesn't directly translate to English in a way that really captures the fullness of the writer's meaning. But in Israelite thinking, a person doesn't have a soul, they are a soul. And it seems to indicate a human's personal identity. Now, further along, Genesis 1, verse 26, when God says, "Let us make humankind in our image," the Hebrew word for image refers to something that contains the essence of something else. And in this case, the essence of God. And so we have been given a God-implanted, God-breathed true essence of who we are in the deepest core of our being. We are a soul with an essential personal identity, rooted in some aspect of how we reflect the essence of God. Now, we all reflect a different aspect of His glory. And together, it's like the string of Christmas lights that if all of us are shining our lights, we can be this breathtaking kaleidoscope that better captures the fullness of the beauty of God. But just like a Christmas scene made with lights, even if one light is broken, you can see the missing piece. So doing the work of self-discovery and insight isn't selfish or egocentric, but it's actually honoring to God and helps us live our lives in a way that really, truly reflects His glory, because we're understanding the part that we each play in reflecting a different aspect of Jesus. Now, the challenge for all of us throughout the pain and struggles of life, we often lose sight of who we really are. We've become shadow versions of ourselves because of our need to protect ourselves from shame or fear or try to gain acceptance and love. We struggle with insecurity and worth, and so we look outside ourselves to rules to follow or authority figures or popular people to mimic for the right behaviors or beliefs to have our needs met for love. But the problem is our shadow self can be so successful in looking like us that we lose sight of our essential self. We don't even know the difference. Now, many people I work with will tell me they don't even know what that means. The transformation journey is about coming back to our original design, to the way God created us, to our most essential self, to the way we are meant to be and to live. But this is really key. Transformation isn't just about becoming our essential self. It's about unbecoming all the things you believed you had to be loved. Growth and healing aren't about finding more things to do, strive for, or achieve, or earn our worth or our lovability. When we look to the external, to what we do, to what we accomplish, the roles we play to gain our sense of identity, we're living as our shadow self. We waste so much time and energy trying to figure out our purpose, looking in all the wrong places, like our roles, our education, credentials, our reputation, what other people think about us, none of which are bad in of themselves. But they become our idol, rooted in our shadow self, rather than an output of the fruit that comes out of a life that is lived from its true north, our essential self as created by God. Now, the good news is that our essential self, that beautiful, priceless, God-breathed part of us, can never be completely lost or destroyed or stolen. They may be hidden behind our protective strategies or what we have learned to believe about ourselves to survive. But who we really are is always still there. We wait to be seen and invited out, for our pain to be healed, and for spaces where our self-protectiveness can be laid down. Uncovering our essential self requires self-compassion for our stories of pain and tenderness to our hurting, scared, hiding selves. It takes insight to see that fear, reactivity, and anger are our mind and heart's way of telling us what we've been through. And it takes courage to face our fears and soothe ourselves in the face of our strong reactions, knowing that we are, after all, just being human. And it takes perseverance to face the truth of how we fumble for our unhealthy and destructive coping mechanisms all the time. And it takes transparency to be vulnerable, to reach out for connection, the very thing we need to heal and transform, and invite our essential self out of hiding.